Have you ever sat down to meditate and within 30 seconds your mind is planning dinner or replaying arguments from 1997? People think this means you're failing. Here's the truth: you're not failing, you're just thinking, and that's perfectly human. Hey guys, it's John sitting here in the studio. Hope you're having a great day today. I know I absolutely am. There's the myth of the perfect meditation. The word meditation has come into a lot of meanings in today's world. People think their version of meditation is what meditation is, and other people think their version is what it is, and they'll chastise each other for their various versions of meditation. They'll tell them that that's not meditation, and the Dalai Lama said the perfect meditation is sleep. The interesting thing is when people begin to meditate, they think it means stopping all thoughts completely. Well, it really means waking yourself up to the stillness between thoughts, finding that moment within there, and letting that moment be longer. Let it grow into something greater, because the thoughts are going to come back when you're done. It's going to come back to the experience. All you're really doing is broadening the time in between thoughts. Imagine someone levitating in perfect lotus position and perfectly serene and with zero brain activity. That's what most people think it's supposed to be. In reality, the mind thinks. That's its job. And being here in the present thinking is part of its own mechanism of life. Our fight or flight response has threat assessment, so it's looking at things as threats. Our cognitive reasoning says that we have a list of linear objects that we have to get done, or tasks that we need to do. And those thoughts are always running in the head. They're coming from the subconscious mind, because we know certain things have to happen. Expecting no thoughts is to set yourself up for disappointment. Meditation is about noticing, not eliminating. When something comes up, releasing it, knowing it'll come back later, and being very comfortable with the idea of letting go of that thought. The wandering mind is always looking, it's always creating. But your mind always runs to absurd places: grocery lists, movie quotes, old embarrassing memories. There's a highlight reel that your brain plays, and it's often nonsense. So instead of fighting it, laugh at it. Your ego hates being laughed at. That threat assessment mind that's always trying to find the problem doesn't like being laughed at, because it feels like it's not being serious. But spirituality is joy and love and laughter. And each distraction is actually proof that you're awake enough to notice it. The wandering mind isn't failure. It's just the material of practice. People judge themselves. They'll say, that was a bad meditation and I only had 12 seconds of focus. Instead, imagine that you're living your life and trying to live into something that is impossible to achieve. You can come to a place of meditation, but even the people who are very good at it know that they've just broadened the time in between thoughts to come to a place of clarity. It's not that thoughts are no longer going to come. It's that they've pushed them aside for a short time. There's no such thing as a wasted meditation. And meditation itself, like I said, it's got so many uses of that word nowadays. That's why I call what I do sitting in love and not meditation, because I can sit in love, and I can go into the grocery store walking in love, and I can be on the highway driving with all the cars zipping around me and think of them in love. I can be in that moment of that feeling of love in any moment. And that's a form of meditation too. Not allowing yourself to be subjected to the experiences of the world, being a reaction zero instead of an action hero. And the act of showing up, even distracted, builds awareness over time. Meditation is a habitual practice. You have to create the habit of meditation. And the habit of meditation is interesting because it takes somewhere between 21 and 60 days of repetitive action to create a habit. And so you have to just sit down and just keep going until it becomes the habit of, now I am doing this. And consistency matters because 21 to 60 days, you've got to get to that point. Most people don't last a week. They start out and they go, I'm quieting my mind, and then those thoughts come in, and after the fifth or sixth thought, they say, I can't meditate. I can't quiet my mind.
And now, a quick word from our sponsor. Coffee Time with John. This channel runs off coffee, so get your coffee and tea at johnsjoe.com.
I would say this. For me, I simply exhale. And I don't focus on thoughts. When the thoughts come in, I focus myself back to the feelings by exhaling again. I exhale. I come back to that state. And by coming back to the state, you realize a couple things. One, exhaling is part of breathing. And if you're breathing, you're alive. So just remember that you're alive. Remember that you're alive. Remember that in this moment, you have a consciousness that is in a physical experience. And you just remember that. When you release those thoughts, you now go into a more esoteric sort of understanding. You start to realize that the body is non-physical because over 90% of the atoms that it's made of are empty space. Sounds, sensations, simple words. You can train yourself to say, okay, now I am here, and come back into that space. Laugh at your mind's attempt to pull you away. I'm not doing that right now. I'm doing this. Keep bringing yourself back to that present moment of feeling. Has always been the key for me, is let go of the thoughts of the mind and the feeling and come back to the feelings of the body. And when you fully let go and exhale, it all feels good. And the more you just relish in that feeling, next thing you know, 30 or 40 minutes will go by. Meditation is about returning to presence without distraction. And the real victory comes when we accept it. When we accept that we are here now, and meditation isn't about achieving something, it's not about accepting what arises. The one thing that will keep you away from having a good meditation experience is looking for some sort of light show to happen when you get there. It is not about that. It's about putting yourself into a state of being. If your meditation was mostly about planning snacks for your kids, maybe that was today's lesson, to literally be in love and be in compassion as you're putting your snacks out for your children. Spirit is in the middle of your messy thoughts, not outside them. It's about getting the quiet times to last longer. And by accepting that that thoughts are not evil, thoughts are not bad, you stop resisting and you naturally expand your awareness. Meditation is simply remembering that you're already whole. And in that wholeness, you have the ability to quiet the mind and revel in the feeling of that wholeness, which is love and is always there. My friend, you are not failing at meditation. You're just a human. And the wandering mind isn't an obstacle. It's part of practice. Laugh at it, notice it, return gently. That's the enlightenment in motion. That's you setting down the thoughts and coming back to that space of understanding that you are here now and you can be quiet in the mind just by pushing those thoughts aside in laughter and joy and coming back, releasing the attachment to those thoughts, because it's the attachment to the thoughts that keeps you anchored in the physical. So let's expand our spirit one distracted thought at a time. Let's come back to the understanding that we are perfect as we are, and that love is a choice that we can be, and that meditation is being the feeling of love. And that's my thought on this. You guys have a fantastic day. I know that I am. I'm getting ready to go into my next session, and I love doing the session. So I just wanted to hop on and talk about this so you can have a thought to think about on how to let go of the thoughts. And that's my thought on this. You guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. See ya.